Blog Talk Radio.
I would like to introduce
Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Team.
Welcome to another edition of Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Radio. On the phone with me tonight, we have King Sasquatch, also known as Tim, and Nick, also known as the Mothman Warrior. And for tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the Sutton Farm UFO alien attack of 1955. And tonight's show is going to be a very good one. We unfortunately don't have a guest for tonight, but our show is still... it's still going to be a pretty good one. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Yeah, tonight should be pretty exciting. Yeah.
Well, we're going to start with a couple of news stories. It's been a while since we've hosted a show without an interview, actually, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have Tim start with his news stories, and then we have Nick have a couple of his, and then I have a couple of mine. And we're going to start the show.
All right, so I'm going to begin tonight's radio show about UFO sightings that have been taking place yesterday. Evidently, yesterday throughout the world, there was over a couple hundred UFO sightings in 12 different countries. So you tell me, maybe they're the same ones, maybe they're different, but all I know is yesterday we were visited by a lot of people. So I'm going to begin our topic tonight by, the name of the topic is Bright Ball of Light reported from frequent skies outside Platteville, Wisconsin. It says, witnesses near Platteville with a population of 9,989 in southwest corner of Wisconsin have watched the same bright UFOs for 5 to 6 years now. They appear as bright balls of light that altered its image, shape, and intensity according to the testimony of different MUFON database researchers. And it says, the most recent sighting for last night was January 30th, 2010. And here's what an eyewitness had to say about it. It does not have any other lights on it. It's just one ball of light, the witnesses said. And it says, it hovers above the woods sometimes and sometimes in the fields or the horizon. The witness reports that the object frequents the area. I will see it very low in the horizon sometimes when the sun is going down. I have seen it during the middle of the day a couple times also. Although witnesses have photographed the object and described it as a ball of light, the photos do not show any shape. The witnesses are unsure of what the photos are turning out, why they're turning out weird, but offers the camera model they have for help from scientists. So that was the one back from the January 30th. And now here is the same exact UFOs by the same exact witnesses. It says, let's see, this one says, witnesses see a ball or a bright orb of light that fades and reappears. And here's the new one. The UFOs I seen yesterday are not really like any other types of UFOs reported. It always fades away and reappears, as I say very often. What really first noticed the crop was 5 to 6 years ago again, and I just started watching the skies as they look really strange and unlike anything I've ever seen before. They almost look like balls of energy. When I see the crop, I don't feel frightened or any negative feelings, but they aren't here to do any harm from what I believe. And I believe it's just a mystery and will remain that way. And from the 3 photos I see, they all look the same way. I'm not sure if people are familiar with the Texas UFO sightings that were very, very popular last year, but if you've seen the photos of those, they look very similar to that. All right, so that was my first article. You guys have anything to add about it? That was seen in California, Wisconsin, by the way.
No, I haven't heard. That's the first time I've heard. Yeah.
So we have the same UFOs being spotted, or similar UFOs being spotted around the country?
Well, actually, yesterday was the biggest, Moose Farm was the biggest mass UFO sighting throughout the world in years. I don't know. It might be the same one. So I'm going to go ahead and start my second one. It's also about UFOs. And again, it's from yesterday. It says, California witnesses describe black spheres of energy interacting with UFOs. This one's kind of long, guys, so bear with me for a second. It says, a California witness reports photographing a climb of mechanical energy force field warping around UFOs. According to the testimony of the Mutual UFO Network, or again, known as MUFON. And says this continued from the February 13th to present. So since the date 2/13/10, I started noticing strange events in the sky. With my star camera, I used to gaze at stars. Says, what appeared to be black spheres of energy started to do weird, unexplained movements and sounds. This would go on every few days when I noticed something different. Because I've always, I'm sorry about that. Evidently this guy has seen UFOs before, starting from the 13th, but most recently they've been doing weird stuff. So this is it. I've watched and learned and studied movement patterns and functions and how they all work together. It seems like they interact like bees or insects looking for gathering useful energy. To me, they seem to be processing it and then taking it back to the giant mothership or aka triangle in the sky. I filmed them with my IR camera, which is also used for stargazing, and it's simply fantastic and amazing. I believe contact with extraterrestrials will be made within 10 to 100 years. Not that this guy, I don't know how the hell he determined that, but
So why
anyway,
time range?
Yeah, seriously, only 10 to 100 years.
Yeah, we'll make contact in 100 years. Like, it's kind of a long time.
Yeah, I kind of say like I could say I bet within the next 4,000 years we'll make contact, and we eventually will. So
Yeah. Nostradamus.
Exactly. But so this guy seen like UFOs like gathering energy from Earth.
And so the interrupting begins.
Exactly. But no, this guy has seen like weird energy movement, like UFOs. They seem to be like absorbing energy and taking it to a mothership, where like I think I said, AKA giant triangle in the sky. So I don't know. It's weird. He said they interact like insects or worker bees or something.
Yeah, that is weird.
I know I've never personally seen anything like that, but in the UFOs I've seen.
Yeah, me neither. I've only seen a couple of possible UFO sightings in my life, and doesn't really sound like anything I've seen, but you know.
All right, so I have one last news article, and this one's kind of short, guys, and this one's kind of scary. But it's not gonna make you want to go swimming. The name of the article is "A Monster Hammerhead Shark Caught Off the North Coast of Queensland," and it says famed wow, I can't even pronounce this. Famed Hervey Bay hunter shark. Wait, why are they talking backwards? Famed Hervey Bay shark hunter Vic Hislop has caught a 5-meter-long monster this week, and he is transported back to Queensland. The huge shark made headlines last month when it was caught off a fishing boat 4 nautical miles off the coast of Evans Head. It had eaten a smaller shark hooked by a fishing boat and then became trapped itself. The shark is longer than a family car and could possibly comfortably fit a few more family members in its stomach. Then Mr. Hislop had even more chilling news. He says, "This is not the biggest one I've caught either. I've caught bigger. And my final captain's note, quote, it's a damn shame it's dead. Truly magnificent creature. Period."
So it's a giant hammerhead shark?
Exactly. But it looks from the picture, he stored it in the freezer, and the eyes are like dissolved. It looks weird.
Yeah, it sounds pretty dang big.
Captain's note.
Did you say bust the cap?
What?
It sounded like you said you were going to bust the cap.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh.
But no, it was funny the way he worded the captain's note. Damn shame he's dead, magnificent creature, and he literally wrote the word period. Like, that's it, Jack?
Oh gosh.
So he means business, Nick.
Of course. Well,
hey guys,
I'll go on.
I'm randomly on Google right now. For some reason, I just felt like typing in Sutton Farm alien attack, and sure enough, we're the second one that comes up on Google. Second and third.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I was going to say, I'll go on to my articles now that I got a couple. This one was posted by Lauren Coleman on Cryptomundo of May last year. I know it's kind of old, but it's pretty interesting. At the Yakima gathering, R. Scott Nelson, who is a retired Navy officer who specialized in crypto-languages with over 30 years experience in foreign language and linguistics. And he released this statement, a study they did over a couple of tapes of Bigfoots communicating. It says, "We have verified that these creatures use language by the human definition of it. The months of hard work that we have put into the study of the Barry Moorhead tapes is finally coming to fruition. The analysis is finished, although I am still working on parts of the final write-up such as frequency, count tables, morpheme lists, etc. I believe that the study of these tapes will never and should never end. With the recognition and acceptance that these creatures do indeed speak and understand a complex language, a greater effort will be made to collect voice recordings, and our analysis of the language will improve. Now that we have a precedent and techniques established for this study, this process will certainly become easier." Well, right there, he's just saying something I think we've talked about on past shows. Do Sasquatch speak a language?
Forget Nick.
And spaghetti. Oh.
That's what
and
that was.
do you guys, like I said, it's something we've talked about in the past, but do you guys, think that Sasquatch can speak a language? I mean, this guy's a specialist in that type of thing, said so, but, everything's always up everything's always up for a matter of debate. And, Tim, do you think, they could speak a language? I don't know if you've heard anything like that before.
Well, I certainly have. I believe they do, because some people have even said they speak like Shawnee language and in Native American languages, I mean, they have to have a communication of their own. That's just a theory, but perhaps they even have their own,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past,
I know there's recorded sounds of them supposedly talking, and maybe they're not as sophisticated as that, like you know what I mean, like vocally.
Yeah.
I know some people they make grunts and noises like that.
Have you ever heard anything like that before, Jer, about Sasquatch vocalizing language?
Well, we actually had a guest on our show a while back named Smider, and he was a call-in, and he actually called in and said that a lot of the Sasquatches, I know that there's some tapes out there that have them speaking these weird languages. But anyways, they said that the languages that they hear, these weird, like when they're trying to speak, it says that they're similar to like Shawnee and Apache languages and old ancient languages. It's kind of weird. I know. I guess it would make sense that they speak somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember.
Well, I mean, animals. Yeah, animals speak. They have their own way of communicating with each other, and why wouldn't a Sasquatch, which is a more intelligent animal, so to say, not be able to communicate?
Well, right now, while we're on this debate, I'm uploading a supposed Sasquatch talking up. It's from the BFRO. It's supposed to be it's Ron Moorhead talking to a Bigfoot that's speaking this weird language.
Yeah, that's what they analyze those tapes. Well, while it's loading, I'll share my other article, and I'm going to say that this might be the weirdest article of the night. I might be wrong, but okay. It's about a possible time traveler caught in a photo after the reopening of the South Park Bridge in New York after the flood in 1940 and 41. that says, it's the short description from the Virtual Barlow Pioneer Museum from British Columbia, Canada. Basically, when you're looking at the picture, you see this picture of a man wearing a T-shirt with what appears to be a small digital or a type of camera that looks kind of out of place. And he's wearing these sunglasses that don't look like something that would be in the 40s, at the beginning of the 40s. They look like more what you would find in nowadays, or, yeah, they look like the glasses you'd probably find nowadays. And, you know, it's kind of interesting. I mean, you know, things can be photoshopped, so, I mean, you know, it's not a,
Yeah.
it's not
You wouldn't think that'd be legit, you mean?
yeah, it might be fake, but also they this website continues to say that the sunglasses in that picture are similar to what an actress named Barbara Stanwyck in a movie Indemnity in 1944. Indemnity, yes.
Good movie, actually.
Not Identity. It was made in 1944, and she's wearing some similar sunglasses. And the sweatshirt that this guy was wearing appears like it could have been hand knitted at the time. And the camera that he was carrying looks like a Kodak folding pocket model. And it was beginning since the available of the 20th century. So this guy may or may not be a time traveler. You know, there's some decent evidence.
Or is it like a physical person?
It's a physical person. There's evidence that this website has that is saying that he most likely just was a normal bystander at the time, because the clothes he's wearing is not something that is totally unexpected for that time era. You know, I mean, he does kind of look out of place if you look at him really quick, because everybody's kind of dressed in, you know, like the Al Capone 1930s gangster look, you know, and all of a sudden you see this guy pop up with a sweater and sunglasses. So, you know, it's a kind of an early prelude to the Rico Suave. And, you know, he's got his hair gelled, and he's got those pretty boy sunglasses, and but this website I found says that it's very plausible that it was just a regular person, and you know, it probably wasn't a time traveler. Now, not to say that it's impossible that he could have been somebody from a more distant time in the future, but the more likely scenario is he was just a regular person. I mean, I didn't read, I just caught the headline of this article, and I thought it was pretty neat, but when I scrolled down, they were, you know, they basically refuted the whole thing, and I just read that part. But
it's going crazy.
But it's you know, it's definitely an interesting and very weird article. You know, we talked about time traveling, I think, last year in a show, which was pretty fun. So I thought I'd just dig that out of the box and read an article about time traveling tonight. Do you got any articles, Jer?
Well, I have one that I want to share now, because we've been talking for about 20 minutes. I need to hurry up and get on the topic. But
yeah.
A really good topic that I have. Where was that? Sorry, I'm looking. It's called. Sorry, my page.
You have dysfunction? You have dysfunction?
It's called the Bigfoot in Borneo. 2 huge footprints measuring 47 inches in length and 17 inches across have been discovered by villagers outside of the town of Daro, Borneo. It seems the villagers had felt sick and uncomfortable a few months ago, as if something unclean was in the air. They consulted a medicine man who told them to dig a hole and build a fence around it. They make offerings outside of this fence, They did as they were instructed and subsequently found footprints outside this fence were leaving these offerings. A local businessman went to investigate, took several pictures of the prints. Interviewed by the Borneo Post, the man said that he thought it would be difficult for anyone to host prints in this dirt because it was so hard. Villagers told him that it's not the first time they've seen the footprints, and the first reports began about 50 years ago.
Wow.
Which means this is a colossal Bigfoot. I mean, the normal Bigfoot footprints, they're only, like, the average one's about anywhere from about 15 to about 20 inches. This thing's double the size of a Bigfoot over here. Whatever.
Dude, that's crazy.
Well, I got my sound recording up for the Bigfoot talking that we were talking about. I'll go ahead and play that.
Right there, just say movement right through there.
That was strange, as you heard.
Yeah.
Haven't you heard that footage before, Nick?
Yeah. We I think we actually played it a couple months ago. I might be wrong, but yeah. At one point, the Sasquatch sounds like he's saying, "What the f?"
Yeah, I heard that.
I started laughing. I was like, the Sasquatch cursing, that's pretty funny.
Well, I got our switchboard up, which is good. But anyways, we have 38 minutes left in the show, and I'm going to go on a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to start the topic for tonight. And you're listening to BFP Radio.
I'm the ghost that's known as Casper. I want to be a friend to you. I will try to make you happy. This is all you have to do. Come along now and join the party. Come along now and have some fun. We are all the friendly people and the one that's begun. Here's a little witch we call Wendy. She's as good as she can be. Over here is tough guy Spooky. He'll surprise you. Wait and see. Come along now and join the party. Come along now and have some fun. We are all the friendly people. We hope you like everyone. Here's the funny ghost.
Chocolate flavored basso is mighty good for me. Mama puts it in my milk for extra energy. Bosco gives me iron and sunshine vitamin D. Oh, I love Bosco. That's the drink for me.
And we are back on Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Radio.
love that,
we're going to get started with the topic for tonight. So are you a little freaked out at the commercials there, Nick?
Oh, I love Bosco. It's rich in chocolate tea.
That's your favorite, Nick.
Well,
oh, God.
yeah. Well, Tim, would you like to get started with give an introduction for the topic for tonight?
Sure. You want me to tell the general story about it?
Yeah, just give an overview of the story, then we'll get more in depth.
Okay, well.
I found something hilarious.
Okay. I'm going to start by saying the fact, like this, I first heard of this UFO case is about 12 years ago. But so it takes place near, let's see, I'm trying to remember what it's called, Kelly Hopkins, Kentucky, and
Hopkinsville,
back in 1955. What, Jeff?
It's in between Hopkinsville and Kelly, Kentucky, in 1955.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in 1955, there's a family, the Sutton family. That's why I just said 1955. But the Sutton family. They owned a farmhouse in Kentucky. They were throwing a party, And during the middle of the party, one of the men went outside to go get some water from a well because they didn't have any plumbing in their home. So while they're up there, he's seen a weird object in the sky, like a UFO land about I believe they said quarter of a mile away, and a goalie. So he was pretty amazed. So he went to the house and told everybody about it, and they were like, yeah, right, sure. You know, they didn't believe him. So about, I don't know, sometime in the night, they looked out the window and they seen a weird 3-foot-tall creature with pointy ears and big eyes about 3 feet tall walking towards the farmhouse, and they said they were glowing. So they got freaked out, and they grabbed there were several men, but the two main men, Billy Ray and I forget the other guy's name, one grabbed a shotgun, one grabbed a .22 rifle and began shooting at it. It just knocked the creature over, and it didn't have any effect on it. So then shortly later, they had another creature jump up on their window, and they were shooting through the window and everything, and same thing, knocked the creature down, but when they went outside to investigate it, it was gone. Like, it didn't do anything to it. So eventually, a bunch of these creatures came toward the house, and they had to make a run for it to their vehicles. I believe there were 2 vehicles, and they drove to town and to the police, and they had the police come out there, and they couldn't find anything. So then the police left, I believe it said, like 2 in the morning. Then shortly after 2 in the morning, they had another incident with these aliens. They came back again for like a second time. So then after that, I'm not quite sure what happened after that, but I just know the family was terrorized by a bunch of aliens. They couldn't kill or even they would just be able to knock them over. They were described as gremlins or goblins. That's, to summarize everything, that's the story about it.
Well, what were you going to say, Nick? Oh, I was going to I found this article really quick from UFOcasebook.com, and it says, the Kelly incident finally explained. Now, this is a sarcastic reply.
Wait a second, Nick. I know what you're going to say really quick. Let me tell the story. We'll get to that last, Nick, because that's a good one. I know what you're going to say.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, I'm going to read the story really quick of what happened, like the short version of it, or like the longer version. And then there's some questions that are being asked and some things like that I'm going to bring up. Well,
all right.
It says on August 21st, 1955, it's near Hopkinsville in Kelly, Kentucky. Billy Ray Taylor and his wife were visiting the Sutton Farm on a particular night. Billy exited the house to go fetch water from the Sutton family well. While drawing water, he witnessed an immense shining object landing about a quarter of a mile from the house. Excited and frightened, he ran back into the house with the news, but no one took him seriously. Soon, strange things began to occur. The family dogs began to bark outside. The man in the house, Lucky, along with his partner Billy Ray, went back outside to see what the problem was. They're both stunned as they saw a 3 or 4 foot tall creature making its way toward them with its hands up in the air. The two men described the creature as nothing as they've ever seen before. It had large eyes, long thin mouth, thin short legs, large ears, and its hand had claws on it. Billy Ray fired his .22 caliber rifle, and Lucky fired a shotgun. The barrage of bullets had no effect on the being. Lucky and Billy both knew that they had hit their target at very close range, but the small creature did a backflip and then scurried off into the woods. The two men went back into the house, but soon another creature was seen looking through a window. The two men again blasted away and ran outside to see if they'd killed it, but found nothing. A large hole was later seen through the screen where the shots were fired. The cat and mouse game continued into the night, and the creatures would appear and disappear. Realizing that they were up against something out of the ordinary that they had no defense against, they ran out of the house and went to the police station in nearby Hopkinsville to ask for help. They took 2 vehicles to hold the people. There's 11 total. After hearing the bizarre story, the sheriff thought that they were joking, and finally, with a group of 20 policemen total, went back to the ranch to go see what was going on. When the police arrived at the farmhouse, they searched the area in the house and found no evidence of creatures, but they did find numerous bullet-held and shell casings. Over 20 policemen were involved in the search, and police admitted that the Suttons were not drunk, were generally frightened, and nearby neighbors did confirm they'd seen strange lights in the sky. And after all this, the police left at 2:15 a.m. After the police left, the aliens returned a second time, and the battle repeated. The gunfire had no effect on the creatures, and altogether 11 people were present at the farmhouse and witnessed it. And anyways, and it says later on, even the Air Force came to the house the next day or a couple hours later. So, what do you guys think of that?
That's
I've
crazy.
had a story for over 10 or 12 years, but yeah, it's a very interesting story. And
yeah. I just wonder.
I was going to say, I almost got to add in there that when the men outside to check the alien body that they thought they shot through the window, there was an alien that was trying to grab at it from top of the roof. That'd be pretty scary.
Yeah. I wonder one thing though. I wonder one thing though. I wonder if Miley was there since Billy Ray was there too.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing that I'd like to point out is these creatures. It says that these creatures were coming up. The original creature had his hands in the air. Do you think that it meant no harm, or do you think it was doing that just for the hell of it, or?
I don't know.
I think they might be curious, maybe.
Yeah, because the creature had his hand in the air.
Well, did you say that the farmer shot at the alien first?
Yeah, well, the creature was glowing and coming towards them, and the guy got scared that it was going to try to hurt him or something.
Oh, so maybe the alien wanted peace, and then they got fired at, and then they retaliated.
Basically, it's a light system. Well, another thing that I'd like to bring up is on a different website in the book that one of the Suttons wrote, he said that Lucky said that the UFO was bright and had an exhaust system that was containing all colors of the rainbow, like it was colorful exhaust was coming for it as it flew over. I've never heard of a UFO that permits exhaust. I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of strange. I've never heard of one that even has exhaust of any kind. They said that it sounded almost like firecrackers when it was going over them. So it was a loud UFO that had smoke coming out. And to me, from that point of view, it almost sounds like a UFO crash rather than a UFO landing. They never said it was a crash, but how come normal UFOs don't have reports of this strange gas and these strange phenomena?
Well, there are reports of exhaust coming out of UFOs, like gases and vapors. Yeah, there have been a couple sightings of it. But do you have anything to say at all, Nick? I know we kind of interrupted you a little bit earlier.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I do. I think I agree with Jer a little bit more on that. I mean, I suppose if different races of aliens. I mean, this is total speculation, but different races of aliens could have different levels of technology. And if there's a species of aliens that needs to burn some type of a fuel that emits some type of exhaust, that's definitely plausible. But most UFO sightings that occur don't usually report of seeing some type of exhaust being emitted. So maybe it crashed and these creatures came out and they were like, help. Maybe they were even asking for help for trying to. And then they get shot at. So. Well, another thing was, do you think the ship crashed or do you think that it just simply landed?
I think it'd be either or. There's like a 50-50 chance it's either one.
Well, the creature, like Nick said, was coming with his hands up in the air.
Well, because what they said is the police searched the nearby woods and everything, too, and they couldn't find anything because they heard about the UFO. Like, they weren't the only family in the area to see the UFO either. So, they said the police searched the woods and didn't find anything. They came up empty-handed, so maybe it was just landing. I don't know.
It could have been a landing, or like I said, if they're extraterrestrials, if they did crash, there could be some sort of technology that they would be able to camouflage their craft. I mean, if they can travel through galaxies and whatnot, what else can't they do?
Yeah,
I know that's kind of begging the question, but.
Well, remember, Nick, when they're like, what Charlie Sheen says, you could tell me, what you're telling me is they could star travel, and but they can't open up doors. Remember, Nick?
Yeah.
Well, why would these aliens leave the ship, though? If there's a party going on with all these people, you wouldn't think that any kind of an alien, judging from what's happened in the past, would even be interested in going near this place.
Exactly. I believe they said there were 10 or 11 people involved.
There's 11 plus 20 police.
Damn.
Well, the Air Force, obviously, it's important because the Air Force showed up. Obviously, something's going on.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, they just randomly wanted to say hi to the family.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. These aliens, originally there was one alien. They shot this, and then several aliens appeared. Was this self-defense, this alien attack, or these aliens visiting? Was it a form of an attack, or was it self-defense? Was it some sort of greeting?
Well, because I know they said there were several aliens climbing all over the house and trying to grab at it and everything.
Well, they said
some people think it was an attack. Some people say it's an attack, and some people could say it was just pure curiosity, you know? Maybe they were curious.
Yeah.
Slow down, boy.
Or like Nick and you were saying, maybe they were just trying to ask for help, but we couldn't understand them, you know, because...
Well, another thing that I found interesting was they said before, when they seen the spaceship, everything was fine. Nobody really said anything when Billy Ray seen the ship. But they said right before the alien showed up, the family dog was barking and it hid underneath the house. So the dog almost knew they were coming, or had a sixth sense, I guess you could say.
Well, animals usually can detect things before people, so that's not surprising.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Well, do you think that the dog knew they were coming, or do you think it was just scared because of what the craft or whatever?
I don't know.
Well, if the thing crashed, the dog could hear it from miles away, you know, so...
Well, the thing that makes this amazing is the fact that there was 11 people plus 20 policemen involved. The policemen gave them all drug tests. They checked out the house with all these windows were shot out and all this sort of thing. And this one, the Sutton's book, one of them wrote one. I think it was one of the cousins of the people that was there. There's a whole family of Suttons. And they said in their book that these aliens, when they were coming out after the initial one was shot, they said they came back after the police came and were almost playing with them. He said the way that they were looking through these windows and the way that they were coming towards this house was almost as if they were curious and were just playing around.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Some people say they're just being curious, maybe.
So,
kind of a
what would you do? So, what would you do if while you were sleeping in your bed and then all of a sudden an alien jumped out? Dog, hey, what's up, man? Let's get this doobie.
Well, word for word, he says, over the next few hours, the witnesses, including myself, seen the creatures repeatedly approaching our home, either popping out through doorways or at the windows, almost in a playful manner. And it says when they get shot, if they were up above the ground level, it said that they would float back to the ground. They said these creatures, when they would get shot, they wouldn't just fall flat like gravity like we would. They would float gradually and just kind of, I don't know how you would say it, they're unaffected by these bullets.
Oh, so he was like, dude, this funny grass makes me float in the air, man. Whoa.
Like you were saying, like Nick was saying earlier, though, different aliens have different levels of technology. Maybe these short, because they're only described to be 3 to 4 feet tall, pretty small creatures. So maybe they need. Cause I've heard of alien reports where they have small jetpacks or levitation stuff on.
Well, they said that they were either had a gray or whitish colored skin, or it was a suit. They said they didn't have jetpacks on, but they did say that they had a weird form of headgear on.
Yeah, it looks like the weird pointy ears. You ever seen a picture?
And he said, for instance, he said, for instance, when they would shoot these creatures out of the tree, he said some of them would just float down to the ground, but they said that when they would shoot some other ones that were on top of the house, it said that they would just, so it said that one of them, for instance, floated over to the fence that was next to their house and was standing on the fence just watching them.
Well, I mean, hey, Nick, have you seen the pictures of these on there?
On a what? Of a what?
Oh, have you seen the picture of these of the illustrations of these aliens, Nick, the way they look?
Oh, no. I haven't seen the pictures, no.
Oh, you should look it up, Nick. While we're on the air, Nick, go to Google or just anywhere, Nick, or even Wikipedia. You could just look it up, Nick, and you'll see what they look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, you should take a look at them, see what they look like.
Yeah,
well,
I'm going to take a look real quick.
Something I would like to point out, the creatures, if this was a supposed UFO crash, where did the creatures go when the police arrived, and where did they go, like when they left? Because I guess they said the aliens were last seen at 4:45 a.m. 15 minutes before the sun came up. They were gone.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I just looked up Sutton Farm aliens, and it just gave me a bunch of pictures of illegals.
Nick, the Wikipedia has a good picture of them, Nick.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, Nick, here's the thing. I was thinking. So these creatures, where did they go? You think when these policemen came, or where did they go when they just disappeared at the end of the night? Where did they go?
Well, who knows? I mean,
I believe they may went to a ship or maybe to the woods. You know, they might have fled into the woods that were nearby.
Yeah, you know, they could have done that. I mean, there's this amount of things you can think about. I mean, like I said, their aliens are capable of intergalactic travel. I mean, what else? It begs the question: what else are they capable of?
Exactly. Well, I mean,
a good look. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because this has always been one of my favorite cases. I've been doing research since I was like 10 years old on this stuff. And again, I didn't have to research this topic. I already knew about it. I even knew the names of the people. I mean, this is one of the most fascinating UFO cases, I think, in my opinion.
Well, they said that. Another great thing that I would like to point out, they said that when they were shooting at these creatures, they said that almost 90% of the time these creatures would go to areas where there was shade. They didn't like lights, and they didn't like bright lights, basically. She said that they would hide in trees or places where it was dark, which is ironic because they disappeared when the sun came up.
You know what? I just found a picture of the aliens, and I think I know who it is. It is Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah.
Just,
so Nick, what do you think?
No.
I mean, they look pretty neat, though, don't they, Nick?
I've never seen anything like it before. I will say that. I've never seen any alien sketches that look like this. A 4-foot-tall floating Mr. Spock. I mean, I've never, it's...
I mean, like we were talking about earlier, Nick, remember, some people said there's hundreds of different alien species, so you never know.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying I've never seen anything like it before. It's pretty odd.
It's very I mean, this family
this family
truly to gain from their experience either. They were just a bunch of poor farmers, and why would they damage their own house in order to gain publicity?
Yeah, I know that would be stupid. A farmer's not going to damage a house.
Exactly. With a shotgun and a 22, they're not going to ruin their house. So this family truly gained nothing from it.
No.
I believe they're telling the truth.
Yeah, I know there are people that... Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Well, what I was saying was, these creatures, they disappeared when the sun came up. Do you think they just didn't want to be seen, or do you think maybe because they're somehow the sun could damage them in some way?
Well, here's I was going to say here's another guess. And remember that awesome movie we saw a few years ago, War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
At the end of it, the aliens, they died because they couldn't breathe the oxygen in the air within the, on Earth. So maybe, their sun, the star from their planet, emits a different type of light, maybe a different type of wave. And maybe the infrared light that the sun lets out would burn these guys up or give them, a really bad sunburn. I don't know. I'm just saying that maybe they couldn't take the type of radiation that comes from our sun. as opposed to theirs. So maybe that's why they couldn't come out during the day.
Well, they said that the police left at 2:15 a.m. and the aliens disappeared. My thing is, how did they not see the spaceship? If the guy said that he seen where the spaceship landed, and the cops obviously went to inspect where the spaceship was at, and it was gone.
Well, like I said, they could have a cloaking device. I mean, if they, like I said, they could travel intergalactic. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like the aliens. Well, the police said that there was no footprints found, but what was odd is they said they found a luminescent stain was found on the ground. But there was only one stain. I don't know if it was blood or what it was. They said one of the creatures was standing where this blood spot was found, or whatever you want to call this.
Maybe it wet itself.
But they said the creatures were glowing. What was odd is they said they had yellow pupils in their eyes that you could actually see. So, like, unlike a gray alien where they don't have any pupils or nothing, these did.
They're more humanoid, huh?
So, yeah, Nick, what do you think of the way they look, Nick?
And they said that the aliens at one point tried to grab at their hair, which is kind of scary, I guess.
Yeah, top of the roof.
I think just by looking at the artist's rendition of these aliens, they look a lot more humanoid. I had to get that noise before the show was over. I knew that was coming. They look like they're very humanoid compared to other, greys or reptilians or all the X number of species that the reptoids. Too bad our friend Bill isn't here to talk about this with us. He always brings up some interesting talking points.
Well, something that I would like to bring up, I found online. It's the skeptic point of view, which I find these kind of comical. It says the possible non-alien explanations. This guy said it was a family prank.
Oh, I got one that's funnier than that. But
they said the windows were shot out and there's holes in the walls and things. I don't believe someone would do that to their house. Their only house, if you're a poor farmer. I don't know why you would do that. Then they said, in 1957, 2 years later, John Albert, Air Force major, he said that it was a monkey painted with silver paint that escaped from the circus, he said.
Well, okay, that one's more random than the one I found.
Creatures. He says monkeys have long tails, monkeys are chatterboxes, and monkeys struck by bullets. Monkeys are agile and cannot be struck by bullets very easily, is what he says.
Oh my gosh! I got one. Come on, guys! I got one that's really funny. All right, there's somebody said it was a meteor and 2 owls.
Oh jeez.
Wow! It said okay. Here, I'll quote. Okay, it says yeah, he put his hand on the slug. Basically, the website I said yet UFO owl expert Joe Nickel wants us to believe that the culprits must have been owls protecting their nests in August. He said, birds nest in the spring. And
well, Mr. Nichols is a known he's a known skeptic. He runs a Skeptical Inquirer.
Oh,
we won't ever be relating to them ever. So.
But yeah, this guy said that it was a meteor and 2 owls that caused.
Protecting the nest. Wow, that's pretty pathetic.
They were protecting the nest, and then a meteor exploded at the exact same time. Come on, you're going to shoot some owls, and they're going to keep flying.
Yeah, you
well,
can't
the
make
monkey
that up.
one is kind of crazy too, though.
Yeah, the silver monkeys.
Well,
silver monkeys and aliens. Oh, huh.
They said that the police officer with medical training determined that Billy Ray's pulse was twice the normal when they looked at it. And I think anybody in their right mind would know the difference between a chimp running around painted gray and like an alien.
Well, you know what they should have said to him? Don't be afraid. Get to know him.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, they said that they said there was 12 to 15 of these creatures that they've seen, and they said at one point there was 2 or 3 of them within their view sight. I don't know how one monkey escaped from a circus can manipulate several beings. That's at the shapeshifter.
Yeah, there you go. What do you call it? Topic from last week.
Yeah.
Well, one fact I had in there too, though. They had several different family members draw their impressions of the creature, and magically they all matched up too. So what are the chances of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They all described the same exact thing. They all look so similar. It's beyond belief. And for skeptics to have to throw their dig in at the family, they had nothing to lose. You guys, I think you're very pathetic if you have to say it's a chimp and an owl with a meteor. That's really pathetic.
Come on.
That's such a low blow. These guys had nothing to lose whatsoever.
Come on, Tim. Don't you think these skeptics? They're not biased. They're so smart, and they're so much better than people that actually believe it. What the witness said it was. Come on, Tim. How dare you question the almighty skeptics?
Well, Nick, sorry to interrupt you, but a guy just said that this show's full of clowns, which is kind of strange. Full of clowns, huh? Because he didn't get his little way in the chat room, so.
He's probably one of those almighty, I know everything skeptics that I was just talking about.
No, he's the one, Nick. He's the one that made up the meteorite theory.
The meteorite, yeah, he probably came up. Yeah, he probably just came up with he heard me talking about his meteorite theory on the radio, and he got a little angry. But that's okay. I'll let him vent his frustration.
It's all right, 'cause it's our radio show, and we take it from a believer's point of view. So.
Yeah, you know, and
but like I said, don't get me wrong. I first found about this case when I was 10 years old, and it's fascinated me since. And I mean,
yeah,
I know everything about this case from front to back, and this family had nothing to gain from it. So, yeah, I believe it.
No.
Without a doubt.
Think about it. Why is a simple farm family going to shoot out their windows and you know, damage their house? That's their livelihood right there.
Goody gumdrops. Everything I dreamed is coming true.
Exactly, Nick. I mean, like you said, it would cost more money to fix the house than they would gain.
That's their livelihood. You know, that's where they live and die. You know, that's not. You know, it's not like somebody that's a lawyer or something. Oh yeah, I got a nice house. I just buy another one. No, the farmer's poor. The farmer barely makes enough money to get by. Yeah, they're gonna blow their house up to get some attention. Yeah.
Well, you know what the best thing is? There was, I believe. Well, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, they're gonna blow their house up to get some attention, and when it's gonna cost them maybe, you know, a month, you know, a few months' salary or something, you know, or money that they earn from their crops or their animals. You know, it doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. And I have one more thing to add in there too. Is I was looking at a website a few months back, and it shows a picture of the house. I believe the house itself was standing until like the 90s.
Yeah.
And the house was pretty small. So I mean, if there were 15 aliens, they could easily surround this house.
Yeah.
I believe they said there's a trailer where the house once stood now. Well, of course,
yeah.
You know, trailers. But but no, from this house looked like it's pretty tiny. So you know if there were 15 aliens around it, you would be completely helpless.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I have to say is I wish if I was there, I'd want to be the shotgun rather than the 22.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I would rather not have the 22.
The 22. Yeah, I'm just, you know, no, seriously, we live in a time where skepticism is ridiculous. I mean,
it rules the world.
You must, yeah, exactly. You must. I mean, a little bit of skepticism is good. It's a good thing. Otherwise, you'd be a sucker and you fall for everything. But when you're so skeptic and you're closed-minded, you know, it's kind of funny. The skeptic says that people that believe things are closed-minded and that they don't open up their minds to be free thinkers, and I say that with quotation marks. Yet, the skeptic closes their mind and thinks that nothing is true. So they have the more closed mind than the believer does.
Just a bit hypocritical.
It's a paradox. I mean, it's ridiculous, but you know, and I'm not saying I absolutely believe that this was a UFO attack or whatever. I can't prove it beyond beyond a shadow of a doubt, maybe, but I can't prove it 100% like a scientific experiment or something. You know, we weren't there, but you know, we don't go out and attack people. Oh, they're a bunch of madmen, blah blah blah. No, we're actually open-minded to something like that.
Yeah, we take things from a believable point of view. But like Nick said, we do have some skepticism on a lot of things, but for the most part, that we want to prove to the public that like paranormal activity is real, you know.
Yeah, there's something going on. Like I was talking to my tutor the other day. She's a sweet, sweet girl, but I told her about the paranormal team, and we went to look for Bigfoot. Her eyes got huge, and she said, "You look for Bigfoot?" And I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, okay." I said, "Yeah." I said, "There's too much evidence to ignore." I said, "There's some type of phenomenon going on, and if you think about it, the really open-minded people are the people," I said, "the nut jobs like us that go out and look for these things, because we truly want to know the truth. We're not just saying, oh, it's impossible." We don't say that, because once you say it's impossible, your mind is closed and shut.
Exactly. And
but
a good thing that I would like, sorry to interrupt you, Nick, but a good thing that I would like to tell our audience, our team actually does go out and investigate these stories and these theories. We don't just sit at home and don't do anything. We actually do go out and research these things.
Yeah. We actually go out and do field work.
We have 3 minutes left in the show, and a final thought on the Hopkins-Kelly Sutton Farm alien encounter. Something attacked these people, whether it was an alien, something happened.
Yeah.
Something would have happened also to get something amazing to get the Air Force to be coming out to these people's houses. Especially
I know,
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the Air Force is coming back to go get those silver-painted chimpanzees that escaped from the zoo.
Well, we have 2 minutes left in the show, and I'm going to give a little forward here to our upcoming shows. Next Sunday at 7 o'clock, we're going to be hosting a show on the Kasai Rex. What it is it's a T-Rex-like dinosaur creature in Africa. We're going to be doing a show on that, and then we start up our interviews again, starting with a John Fleming interview. He wrote a book on mysterious things in Florida, and we're also having Stanton Friedman and Frank Frascino for the Flatwoods Monster going to be joining us. So the next couple of weeks on BFP Radio are going to have pretty big guests coming on.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Again.
Yeah, I wasn't able to talk to him the first time. I'm looking forward to him especially.
Anyways, I'll let everybody say their goodbyes.
All right, well, everybody, good night. This is my Mothman Poirier 1.0, and just saying good night, and take care to all the listeners out there.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. I'll see you guys next Sunday.
This is King Gray. I just want to tell everybody, keep your minds open, and remember, Sutton Farm, so you weren't lying at all. They've seen what they've seen, and the Bigfoots Pad will be continuing their research on the topic. All right, everybody. Good night.